Alright, we've got here is my old main rig that I just recently upgraded. You may remember that. It's basically as is, it's just missing the extra drives, and right now I'm actually running a backup, so that way I can access everything on that particular drive in the event of a problem later on down the line. And what I'm going to do, where it's going, is I'm going to come in here, and right back there, if I turn on the video light, is my VM server, which I have been busy getting ready for this upgrade. It is going to get that new hardware. And in preparation for that, I have actually fitted this thing with 32 gigabytes of memory. So that's 16 would have been enough, but I figure I might as well go for 32 for the future-proofing aspect of it. I haven't quite decided what video card it's going to get. I'm going to try a Radeon 7770, and hopefully that will work. I'm not going to be surprised if it does not, but I'm hopeful that it will work. Either way, I got to get this backup taken care of, and then I actually have to get a backup of that taken care of. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, a couple of problems here. That'll preclude my being able to simply clone the old install to this new hardware. Number one is that when I shut down the old machine, I'll have no PXE boot server, because it's on that system, so it takes away the ability to do it that way. And the other issue is that this new hardware, I believe, is new enough that UEFI and Secure Boot and all the other stuff may pose a problem. I know UEFI is on, I know you can turn it off, I know you can do all of that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to bother, because it seems like it's kind of a bother. So I've just configured this, basically stock, create a new user account, you know, uninstall all the junk. There's going to be more junk than what was on the old machine, but I don't really care. We're in good enough shape right now that I feel comfortable putting this in. But there is one more problem that I failed to realize is going to be a problem. I need 3 network interfaces, 1 wireless and 2 Ethernet. I can put the wireless in here now. I cannot put a second Ethernet in because this thing does not have any PCI slots. So, oops, I'm going to have to add that later. But that's not a big deal. Most of the core functionality I can do now. The rest of it I can do later. I don't really care right now. Good enough for the time being. Okay, here's the existing hardware. So the SSD and 320 gig hard drive and the WD Blue 500 gig drive are both all coming out. And I'm going to replace it with a 1 terabyte, one of those RE4 drives that I recently evicted from server use. So, but I gotta not yak about this and actually work on it. So, yeah, it's past 2 o'clock. So, I need to be in bed. Okay, that's all, everything unplugged. Time to pull the board out. And the I/O plate, of course. Okay, and there is the new board mounted with a new set of screws. I'm not sure why I used these fine thread screws to start with. I think it was whatever was in the case at the time, but that's very weird. Usually motherboard screws are not fine thread, so I don't know what that's all about. Okay, the board setup is complete. Everything is plugged in that needs to be plugged in. Everything is working, I hope. Hope that the LEDs are all plugged in correctly. Now I got to deal with all these drives. Okay, I just went into the BIOS and configured all the settings. Let's see if I screwed it up badly. It does work with the video card, which is nice to know. It is now booting, which is good. The interesting thing that I have just noticed is that my CPU fan stops as soon as it goes into Windows. Alright, so invariably there's no video driver installed, so I'm going to have to deal with that. Aw, gee, thanks, Windows. Too bad I don't actually care right now, because I'm in the middle of other things. Okay. Here we go, hopefully. I did see it ring in on that. Oh, it's pink for some reason. Why is it pink? Well, that's rather strange. Okay, well, for some reason it's pink. It might have actually crashed, I don't know. I think it probably crashed, but, yeah, it's real promising. Well, it didn't crash this time, so I don't know what that was all about. But, it's still pink. I don't know why it's pink. That's really, really quite fascinating. It's going to stay that way because I don't feel like fixing it. I'm not changing that cable. So, in fact, I can't change that cable. So I guess it's just going to stay pink forever. But that's it for that. Everything is running. Now I've got to go work on the next one, which I can hopefully get done here in about 10 minutes. It shouldn't take this long. But then again, this one shouldn't have taken this long either. So who knows. Okay, here's the VPN server. Now this might take a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it shouldn't take too long. Basically the idea is that I'm going to get rid of both of these drives. I'm going to put an SSD in for the boot drive, because I got a 40 gigabyte SSD kicking around now. And I was going to use... In fact, I think I probably still will use a smaller drive than I had originally planned. Well, I was going to use an 80, but I think 80 is going to be too small for this. I would rather have a 250, but this 320 should do just fine. So we'll use the 320. Doesn't need to be screaming fast. These are only SATA 1.5, so it'll still be an improvement. But I need to get some cloning taking place, and then I need to do some transfers. I almost forgot. I also went ahead and I got an I/O shield for this motherboard. Direct from China, so you know, it's got all the usual Chinese issues of quality control. It fits the motherboard, but it doesn't fit in the case. I don't know what they did, but they screwed up the tabs on it or something, because you can't actually get it to stick in the case. So, whatever. Hopefully it will power on. Here we go. And get rid of those ball bearing drives. Which key is it that I need to push? F12? I think the F12 key is the one I need to press, except I forgot to plug in the monitor again, because I'm such a dork. Okay. Go to the fog server, which better work. And it'll just go in straight into its image capturing routine. I'll probably find that I plugged the wrong drive in. I've only got the one drive, so that way it automatically pulls from the right one, assuming that I actually plugged in the correct drive. You know, this is going to sound real rich coming from the guy who has so many vintage computers in his collection that are much slower than this, but good lord, this is obscenely slow. And it's maxing out the bus, too. Well, not quite, it's probably maxing itself out. But, yeah, no. That's painful. It is so painful to just watch that trickle along at such a slow, glacial pace. It'll be interesting to see, because I don't know if this motherboard is new enough to support SATA 6 gig. How slow it is to transfer to the new SSD, which I've already installed. Let's try this method. See what happens when I do this. Deploy image. Of course, I gotta enter the username and password. Okay, want to deploy link. There we go. Just let it do its thing. And that will go to the 40 gig drive, and then I can get ready to do the other transfers. Holy crap. Look at the speed difference. So this, it looks like this board is capable of SATA 6 gig. If it's going that fast. So, putting that SATA 3 gig drive in there is going to be kind of a bottleneck. I may put one of the 500s in it just because of that. I think those 500 gigs, these ones, are SATA 6 gig drives. Do they say on them? I think they do somewhere. I know the Seagates do. I thought it did. Well, I'd imagine because it says there, pin 5.6 limits to 3 gigabit, it's probably a 6 gigabit per second capable drive. So, I'll put one of the 500s in there. Well, maybe it's not, I don't know. Too good to be true? We'll see. Yeah. So as it turns out, it is only SATA 3, rather than SATA 6. But I'm going to just go ahead and put the 500 in it anyway, just for future-proofing purposes. That 500 isn't going to do anything else anyway, so why not? Okay. This better work. Okay, here we go. Dynamic energy saver. Yeah, there's everything. We will be doing some further setup on this, or I will be, but I'm not going to include it in the video because this is taking forever. I just want to make sure that it's going to boot. And that the script will start properly. Okay. Looks like we're good to go. Alright, yep, that's pretty much it. So, I'm going to call the video at that. Thanks for watching.